And so when I was ready to start really putting down roots for my brick and mortar Reiki practice, I didn't know what I was doing. Like most of us, we weren't given a business manual. And I was able to journey to and discover my business guide through shamanic journey work, and ask, like, what do I do now? What are the next steps? And so I was able to make the flyers and make the business cards and know where to put them through that support. And then when it came to my actual, like, well, how do I get people in the door? Like nobody knows me, and I'm in a red state in a tiny town. And like, how do I build a Reiki practice? And one of the primary things that I did to really build my practice was to offer 7-week shamanic guided journeys through the chakras. And so with that, I was under a whole mission of self-discovery at this time. And so I really wanted to choose the chakras. I really knew that guided meditation was something that I could offer. And so I had practiced journey work so much. I was coming up with these different journeys to offer others and say them out loud so that my clients, my students could experience the same without having to go through the whole training. Okay. So what I did was I set up a 7-week series on the chakras, and each week we did a shamanic journey to that specific chakra. And it was a beautiful time because, as you know, if you have been following Reiki Cafe Radio for a while or have watched Reiki Cafe University, our online school, like, we have a lot of courses focused on the chakras. And this was when I really learned about them. I knew that I had emotional trauma. I knew that I had physical health issues, and I wanted to connect the dots. And so when I was doing those shamanic journey classes to the chakras, I was really doing a lot of research and my own journey work to discover what those shamanic journeys should be for the class. And in that research, in that development, I learned so much about myself. I recognized that my suppressed anger from my first marriage was really causing my digestive disorders. I learned that, that my third eye was really significantly impacted and creating these migraines as a way of like information overload, or not being able to flow through all of my chakras because there was just so much information coming in from spirit world, and not letting it flow through the chakras and really make manifest. And so I had all of these connecting dots during that time, and was able to share with the opportunity with my classes to let students really experience shamanic journey work without having to take the training. And so they got a ton of healing too. So it was a very healing time in my life. By the time I started teaching, I was remarried, had my second baby. It was a good relationship, very satisfied and happy in my current marriage, my last marriage, if you will. And from that point, I was really taking the next steps of going, okay, I've got this shamanic journey classes where I'm offering the journey work. And at the end of the class, I'm upselling them into my Reiki sessions. I'm upselling them into private guided shamanic journeys. And from those came many of my, like, if you've heard Manifesting Meadows, it's on our YouTube channel. If you go under chakras, you'll find it. But I had all of these guided meditations that were coming out of this practice, primarily from the shamanic journeys that I was offering in my classes, because those are all absolutely spontaneous. I never know what's going to show up. I never know what I'm going to see. I never know what I'm going to hear. And it's organic. And the information that comes through is so potent and profound for the client that they know how to take the next steps in their healing work. So for example, a client who is coming in who is struggling with, let's say, their food. It could be, they're binging eating or whatever it is, like they're having relationship issues with their food. Well, we could then go to do a shamanic journey, and the intention would be, We're going to the upper world to meet our spirit guide, to learn about how I can support and my relationship with food and release any addiction habits. Right. And so you can set your intention, and what that does, setting that intention really helps you bring in the focus. It's just like if you are a hunter in the woods and you're tracking an animal, your focus is purely on that one task. Same thing goes when you're on a shamanic journey. Your task is very laid out by the intention that you've set. You don't get distracted. You don't go on these tangents. And you really stay true to what information you're going after. And so with that, I could bring a client through a shamanic journey experience, receive that information and relay it to my client. And so I did that for years. And then it kept evolving. I kept wanting to do more. So once the pandemic hit, and I needed to bring everything online, I was like, okay, hold up. I've been doing shamanic journey work. I've been doing chakra analysis, which is just a shamanic journey through the chakras. I've been doing all of these different healing practices and built my clientele up. I had 15 to 20 clients a week, and I would say at least a third of it was shamanic based. And I really loved my practice. And it was like, okay, then now it's time to move it online. And I knew that I wanted to support Reiki practitioners worldwide. Like I knew that was my drive. I knew that if I could support Reiki practitioners and Reiki teachers all around the world, then that would be my biggest way to help support the world, because then all of them can go out and work their own communities and heal their own communities if I supported them. And so before the pandemic even hit, was already starting to bring some things online. I had some ideas. And one of the issues that I wasn't sure about was like, okay, not only can I do an attunement online, I'm not sure about that, which it turns out I can. And then the second question became, well, can I teach shamanic journey work online? Now, I had been doing it for a few years at this point, not just doing shamanic journeys for others, but actually training them how to journey. And so I did a beta test, because that's what you do. If you don't know if it's going to work or not, you discount it and you do a beta test. So right at the beginning of the pandemic, I did a beta test for Shamanic Journeys, and it was a 6-week class. And I brought in some students who already knew me during the pandemic or pre-pandemic, like students in Bozeman, Montana, and maybe a few people who were online who were already following me. And I brought this class together, and we did a shamanic journey for once a week for 6 weeks. And I just wanted to find out what the capacity was, like if this was doable in a group and online. And so at that point, it was very interesting, because everyone learns at a different rate. And it doesn't matter how much experience you've had, for the most part, and it doesn't matter what point of your healing journey you're on. It totally depends on like how your brain works. Like, is your brain easy going and imaginative space, or creative space, or does it really hold on to the rigidity of like needing to know what's coming next at all times? And so someone could be really well into their Reiki practice and still struggle. And the struggle is part of the journey. The struggle is part of the work, and that's okay. And so in the class, I was able to hold this beautiful space to do the learning and to recognize, okay, that one didn't seem as wasn't very productive in what you journeyed about, but now you know how to get there. And that was the goal. It doesn't matter how much we saw, it doesn't matter how much information we gained. The purpose of that journey was just to make it to the lower world, for example. Okay. And so with that is why you need a guide, because it's this constant encouragement to keep trying. Because I did have one student who joined the beta test. I was really glad she did, because she was like, I don't think this is going to work. I don't think I'm capable of this. I have blocks around this kind of stuff. I don't think it's going to work. I want it to work, but I don't think it's going to. And I appreciated her candidness. And she did struggle for the first couple rounds. And then by the 6th class, she was like, oh my God, I visited my guides and they were all there and we were dancing around a campfire and they told me this wisdom and da, 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 da. And it was just went to show that the person who doubted herself the most, by the end of the 6th week, she got there. And so I was really happy that she hit the goal, she made it. And now that, she has the skills to do it on her own. So when I came out with this Shamanic Journey training course, I've been now teaching Shamanic Journey online throughout the whole pandemic. It's been through part of many of our longer term programs. And for the summer, I just wanted, a way to offer a course that was short, sweet, and yet give you this powerful tool to shift your practice, to enhance your practice in so many ways. And so that's why it's 10 weeks. So not only are you going to learn how to journey, but by the end, you're going to be also able to journey for other people. And so that's the goal in this course. Not only impact yourself and impact your spiritual practice, but so that you can add it to your Reiki practice. And so that is really the goal. If you would like to join this class, we are starting on the week of May 23rd. We'll be having regular calls on Thursday evenings as part of our call schedule. You get 5 modules. Those modules include guided meditations. They include a total of 3 shamanic workbooks. There's also journey prep videos. And so what those are is that you watch the 20-minute video before you come to class, and then you're prepared for the journey work that we're going to do together. And so that one live call a week is your safe space to do the journey work, so that by the end of the course, you can continue on your own in your own practice. So if that sounds ideal to you, definitely come check out the course. It's at ReikiCafeUniversity.com. If you just go to our College of Reiki, you'll find it there. And we do have payment plans available. So I would love, love, love to support you in this. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can find me at Christine@ReikiCafeUniversity.com or anytime at our Facebook group, Reiki Cafe. So with that, thank you so much for listening today. If you have any other questions, reach out and I will see you next time. Take care, everyone.